Hi friends, welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, I currently homeschool a 4th grader, and today I'm sharing our plans for science next year for 5th grade. So for most of the year, we're going to be focusing on the human body using the My Pals Are Here science for our spine. And for this curriculum, I have the teacher's guide, the activity book for the students, and then the student textbook. So I started piecing together this unit by going through the book and mapping out all the lessons that focus specifically on the human body and its systems. And then I built everything else around that framework. So I'm going to kind of go through the book a little bit and show you what's in here. Okay, so this one is the student book. Okay, and you can see right here, Unit 1, Skeletal and Muscular Systems, Unit 2, Respiratory System, 3, the Digestive System, 4, the Circulatory System, 5, Cells, and 6, Healthy Diet. And we'll be going through all of these units, even 6, but 6 we're actually going to work into our Friday lessons, Fridays when we do health and life skills. So this will be worked into the health portion of our schooling. And then 1 through 5 would be our science portion of our schooling. Okay, then we have, you can see after Unit 5, it breaks away and goes into other things. And so some of these I do have worked in to our school year, but the main majority of this is going to be for the human body lessons that are in here. So I'm not going to cover these units. Let me try to stop that glare. I'm not going to cover these units. I am going to go through the 5 units that we'll be using towards the human body. So Unit 1, Skeletal and Muscular Systems. And then it's broken up into 1.1, 1.2, what are joints? 1.3, so you can see a unit has multiple parts to it. Then we go into Unit 2, the respiratory system. Unit 3, the digestive system. And then in Unit 3, they do have some parts that cover animals. And as I was planning out the lessons, some of these I kept and some of them I didn't keep. My daughter loves animals, and we have chickens. So I believe I kept this as part of our lesson plans. But for the most part, I did try to stick to the human body. Okay, then we have Unit 4, the circulatory system. Unit 5, cells. And then Unit 6 is the healthy diet, which I'm not going to flip through in this video, but when I pull together our Friday lessons, I'll put it in that video. Okay, so now that I did a quick walkthrough of all the units in the My Pals spine that we'll be using, I wanted to kind of show you guys what a lesson would look like for us. So we're going to be doing science 2 times a week, and right now the plan is to alternate weeks of science with geography. So one week we'll have 2 days of science, and then the next week we'll have 2 days of geography, and so on and so forth. So for our first lesson, I just broke it up by the lessons in here for the most part. There are variations throughout, and I'm not going to go over all the lessons with you. I'm just going to show you how the first few are set up. Okay, so for our first lesson, we would go over 1.1 in My Pals, and then we would do the nose activity, and this is from Moving Beyond the Page. And this was really the only place where they talked about cartilage, so that's why we would work this Moving Beyond the Page piece into this lesson. And then for our second lesson, we would do 1.2 in My Pals. And then we would do this activity 1 in the activity book. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is activity 1. So this is what we would do while we were doing our second lesson. And then I don't have us doing the creative science part, which is, this is what this is asking you to do. But when I show you guys my resources, you'll see I have a lot of different resources when it comes to creating a model of the human skeleton. So we don't really need to do that piece. And then I would also, with lesson 2, work in a teeth activity that is from Moving Beyond the Page as well. Okay, so now I showed you guys what a lesson might look like for us, or by giving examples of a couple different lessons. And I wanted to show you guys what the teacher book looks like, the teacher guide. And how this is laid out. They have it, the lesson. Now this is for a classroom, right? So that's why it shows a number of periods. And if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I glance at this and I can get some general information off of it, but it's not like super helpful in a homeschool setting, at least in my opinion, because I piecemealed so many different things together. If I was maybe only using this curriculum, maybe then. Okay, so you have your unit scheme of work overview, and then it does go more broken down. So you have your 1.1 and 1.2, what the lesson plan should be, and then it's also broken up by, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and additional activities. So maybe somebody would find this very helpful, and I'll still look over it before we do our lessons and stuff. But when I was building our lessons, this was more just kind of a very, very general resource for me. Okay, so as you just saw with Moving Beyond the Page, I do plan on enriching this heavily. So I basically made this whole human body part of our schooling, a big unit study type situation. And when I say unit study, I mean like a deep dive on the human body. It's not going to have math and, incorporated grammar and all that incorporated, which I know that's how a lot of people view unit studies. So that's not what I mean. But to make this really hands-on and fun, I want to pull in some resources to enrich it better. So here's some of the things that we'll be using for that. So one of the things that I got from Amazon are these, what's supposed to look like human body x-rays. And when you can build them, you can lay them out to build the human body. So that's something that we will use as a resource. Another thing we have is a stethoscope. This human skeleton magnetic kit. So you have these magnets and they're color coded around the edges. And then, I don't know if you can see that, where they would go is color coded. So you can kind of see where it would go. And then you have your model that you're going off of. So you have the front of the skeleton on this side of the tin. And then on this side, you have the back of the skeleton. So because that one was teal, it would go somewhere over here with green. You know, I got to get my board games in. So for that, this is really more of a card game. We have Organ Attack, 2 to 6 players, ages 8+, playtime is 30 to 90 minutes. I love this cute little medical journal it comes in. This is the game is in here. All right, we have the Squish and Learn Human Anatomy. And I got this, the idea of this from, I think it was DDC Homeschool. It was either that. I can't remember. I think it was DDC though. So you have this body, some little tools, and he opens up, and these are like squishy, gummy, not gummy, I don't know if gummy is the type of, the word I'm thinking of. Maybe gummy, I don't know. But yep, so we have this. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is really cool. It's an organizer that you would place the body parts on as you pull them out. I love that. All right, we have this Build the Human Body book. So it's a 32-page book and a 66-piece model where you build a 2.5-foot skeleton. So this is the contents of the book. You go through the book. And a lot of this is going to be what we cover in our spine. But it's just good to, you know, reinforce and just constantly reviewing the content. And then the puzzle is in here. And then these are all the pieces in here that you would use to build the skeleton. Ooh, I'm kind of afraid to take that out until we're ready to build it. I don't want to lose anything, especially since they're these little pieces. Oh my goodness, I've dislodged the spine. I can't get it back in. This guy must be over 30. Okay. And we have a 4-foot tall floor puzzle. And I want to buy everything Dr. Livingston. This is Dr. Livingston Jr., but Dr. Livingston, not Jr., there are also puzzles that you build different body parts. Sorry, I'm still trying to get this spine in while I talk. You build different body parts like the head. I think the abdomen is maybe the whole chest cavity piece. But you build these puzzle pieces separately, and they're big, and then they can piece together the puzzle. Different puzzles as a whole can piece together, and it's a puzzle of its own. I don't know if I explained that right, but I'll try to put pictures up on the screen. But that looks really cool, and I want to get those too, but those are really pricey. Okay, so those are all the resources that we have. I have a couple more that I want to get. We'll see if I do. I'm happy with, I think what we have will totally suffice for the year. I just really love combining our main curriculum with activities like this. It just helps bring the learning to life, and it makes it so much more memorable. And I'm really excited to cover the human body. So once we finish our human body study, we'll spend the rest of the year working through science using the 180 Days of Science workbook. We'll be using this to just make sure we're covering what we need to satisfy our state standards and to round out any additional science topics that we want to touch on. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. If you're planning your science next year, I'd love to know what you're using in the comments. And if you enjoy homeschool planning and curriculum videos, don't forget to subscribe because I'll be sharing all of our other subjects as well. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.